listening to, you are absolutely listening to the George Espinlove Show, coming to you live from the Funny Farm. Now, with no further ado, here comes Georgie!
Thank you. I thank you. All righty then. Thank you so very much. That is always a pleasure. To all of our friends down the street, around the corner, across this great nation, and around the world, I want to welcome you to another George Espinlove Show that comes to you every night, Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, right here on the Spreaker Network. And it comes to you from a place called Our World, which we have no idea where that is. We don't have a mailing address. We don't have a mailbox. But yes, we do. We do have an email address. It is georgece@comcast.net. georgece@comcast.net. Thank you for all of your emails. Thank you for all of your support, kind words. Keep those emails coming. I promise we'll answer each and every one of them. We get excited when we get email from our listeners. There are some great things that's taking place here on the George Espinlove Show, and later on in the show I will go into more detail. We are ready to launch something. I'll share with you what that is in a little while. We are getting to move into another segment of our broadcast, and I think that you will enjoy it. I think it'll be very interesting, and I think you will sit glued to the device that you listen to the George Espinlove Show from. Remember, you can download the app on your iPhone, the Spreaker app. That's Spreaker, the Spreaker app. Download it on your iPhone, and you can listen to us everywhere you go. If you have a Droid system, same. Bring her down. Go to your marketplace, bring down the Spreaker app, and you too can listen to us everywhere you go with your Droid system. We are everywhere. With your tablet, the same thing. Apple, bring down your Spreaker app, the Droid operating system, bring down your Spreaker app from where you get your apps, and you're good to go. So you can tune in and get us on just about any device that they got going. If you have one of those, I don't know what they're called, dooflickies that you plug in the thingamajig, into your power, in the car, and then you plug it into your iPhone or your tablet or whatever it is, you can listen to it right through your speakers. So, and I understand that there's some brand new cars that has internet access, so you can even listen to us there. To all of the people that's listening to us around the world, I thank you so very, very much. We have a great show planned for you tonight, and one of the most congenial individuals that you ever want to talk to is going to be with us tonight. Knopf from Smyrna, Delaware. That's just right up the road from here. In fact, Delaware is not too big anyhow, but he's just up the road, and he is one of our own. Yeah, we give him a big cheer. All right, that's enough. Thank you. That's enough. All right. Okay. All right. Yeah, okay, Isaac, whatever you say, buddy. Our own Saul Knopf is going to be with us here in just a minute from just up the road in Smyrna, Delaware. There is some very, very good talent that is out there that men and women need to hear, need to know about, need to know where they're performing, need to know if their CDs have come out, their singles, their albums, what be it. But there are some tremendous gems out there that men and women need to be exposed to, because when you hear Saul, you're going to realize that this man knows how to make music. And I love his music. I've listened to it so much. I listen to it every day. I've listened to it every day probably for the last 2.5 weeks, if not more, maybe a little bit less. But it's music. It's music that the doctor ordered. I'll put it to you that way. So we're going to bring Saul Knopf. There I go, thinking and trying to talk at the same time. Saul Knopf onto the show. Let's do it right. Let's do it right about now. There's no better time. Saul, welcome to the George Espinlove Show.
Thanks, George. It's great to be with you.
It's a delight to have you. I must say that you are very talented, and
thanks, buddy.
I have fallen in love with your music. I don't know how many times and how many of your songs I've listened to over the last week and a half, 2 weeks. I don't know, but I'm always listening to them. They are.
Thanks.
They're the kind of music like the doctor just ordered. You know what I mean? And besides that, you're one of our own, right here from the great big state of Delaware, right?
That's right. Yeah, I grew up in Dover. I was born and raised in Dover, and I live in Smyrna now.
And
I love it. I love living here.
And I see you graduated from Salisbury University.
Well, actually, I didn't graduate.
Okay.
I went 2 years, and I was going for business administration, and I did very well, but my heart was with music, and my father said, "I'm not sending you to college for music. You can play music now," and because I started playing, and performing regularly. I mean, every weekend at a very young age, 16, 17 years old, and so he said, "Heck, I don't need to do that," and so I went ahead and joined a band out of Canton, Ohio. In those days, of course, we didn't have internet and all that stuff, so I joined a professional musicians referral service and ended up leaving college and going on the road with a band out of Ohio. And that was as much of an education as anything.
I'll bet it was.
Yeah, but no, I didn't graduate, and I really regret it. I should have finished out. I needed to grow up a little bit more, and I think it would have built a little bit more character. But when you're a kid, nobody can tell you anything. So
exactly. when I was a kid, I was the smartest that I've ever been my entire life.
Isn't that the truth?
Yeah, and
oh my God!
Now that I'm in them twilight years, golden years, whatever they try to lay on you, I'm just as dumb as a rock sometimes.
I'm with you, buddy. I am with you. And the older I get, the more I realize that.
Yeah, the only thing I know is I don't know anymore.
That's right.
But I long for those days when I knew everything.
I'll tell you.
So when you
I went to Dover High School, and then I went to Salisbury. It was just Salisbury State College then. It's a university now, and my daughter goes there now. My daughter's a sophomore. And but yeah, it was a good experience. But I instead of studying, I was over at the music lab down in the basement playing piano for hours, trying to figure out how to do it, teaching myself. And when I should have been studying. And so music calls to you. We all have certain things that call to us, and it just wouldn't stop calling to me. So I figured, well, I better go after this thing. So.
Yeah, there's a passion that's deep down inside of all of us, and once we find that passion, it just consumes us, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. But for me, it was a blessing. I mean, it just really has been. I've still got a lot of life to live, but I've experienced some wonderful things because of it, and I wouldn't change it for the world. The only thing I would change is I really would like to have finished college. There's just something that gnaws at me about just the accomplishment of it. I think it would have helped me as a person, and maybe I'm wrong, but I seriously wish that I'd have finished. But other than that, I've loved every step of the way, and some of the things that are on the horizon are really exciting. So, yeah, it's been a good ride so far.
When your dad said that you can play music now, was that kind of like a fatherly blessing that he was giving you?
Well, I think it was. He knew that I had a gift. He didn't know how to help me, but my father was a businessman. My father was a very successful businessman, and that's all he knew. Mm-hmm. And he didn't have the opportunity to get an education, and he did everything he could to educate me and my brother and sister. And but I think he recognized. My father had an opportunity to be a professional baseball player, but his mother wouldn't let him pursue it. Mm-hmm. And I think that he kind of saw a little bit of that dream in that opportunity for me, and he didn't want to squash it, he surprised the heck out of me because my father was tough as nails. I mean, wow. I mean, he was really a very demanding human being, with my athletics, with my everything. And so when I went to him to tell him that, Dad, I really think I need to pursue this instead of finishing my college, I thought he was going to kill me. I really did. You just didn't play like that with him. But, it was very, very humbling day and a surprising day. And he said, well, I think you're making the right decision. I really do. Mm. And so that was a good thing.
That's tremendous. He was probably like a lot of fathers then. They came from the old school, and whatever they did, they had to pound it out by pounding rocks on sharp things to cut things. You know what I mean?
I sure do.
Yeah, he came from the old school, and he knew what it would take to really get something done. So thank God for those kind of fellas, huh?
Oh, I tell you what, I couldn't love him more, and I sometimes, and he was tougher than he probably should have been, and maybe not as understanding as he probably could have been, but I think that's part of what made him a successful businessman, and it really taught me to toe the line, and to not just be average at things. You've got to be the best that you can possibly be at something. Don't, if you're going to do it right and be the best at it. And so, I always, I tried to please him, and it was very difficult to do, but it taught me a lot, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I'm so glad that he did it.
When you say be the best that you can be, a lot of young people hear that. That's like an old cliche anymore to them.
Sure.
But it doesn't come without paying a price, does it?
Well, absolutely. Absolutely, and it has to. It has to. We live in a generation where people want that instant gratification, and there is no such thing as that. Mm-hmm. And true gratification comes from accomplishment. It comes from achieving something. It's not just getting a trophy for being on, just for doing what everybody, said you're supposed to do. You've got to achieve something. And I think today we're so concerned about people's feelings and maybe their self-confidence and stuff that we reward them for being average. And I just don't agree with it. I don't. I think that, you get rewarded when you accomplish something, doggone it,
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I can remember, when I was coaching Little League and they were talking about not keeping score and giving trophies to kids just for participating and stuff. And I was like, man, that's a big mistake. Big mistake. You're promoting, people to be average and not to strive. You got to strive in this world.
Yeah, and they kind of make mediocrity seem like that's the norm. So it's all right to be like that.
Right. Well, it also we raise a generation of quitters because I even look at myself. I've been in this industry for over 30 years, and nobody would have stuck with it that long with the dreams and aspirations that I've had. But I'm just too dang stubborn to quit, and I'm not going to. And but time and time again, you see the people that are successful. Other than every once in a while, a youngster will hit on something and get lucky. And I'm not saying they're not talented, but it's the people who have the longevity, the people who are just determined and persistent and consistent and work harder than everybody else. And so anyway, I'm on a soapbox here, but I don't know. I feel passionate about that.
No, and you're perfectly all right standing up on that box, because I slid mine over beside you. I'm standing with you. So we're both a little taller. We're standing on our soapboxes. But so I'd like to play a song, and good love, yeah, blah blah blah. I'll get it. Good love, good love takes time.
Okay.
And you guys and gals that write songs, you fascinate me, because I guess I'm a writer, and I guess writing songs is something like being a writer. You get this thing, this inspiration, this whatever it is, and you've got to put pen to paper. But people that write songs, they fascinate me. And all of your songs got a message to it. And they are so sweet sounding. So, ladies and gentlemen, as Charlie, that's my soundboard guy. As Charlie always says, with no further ado, here is Saul playing Good Love Takes Time. That was a beautiful song.
Thanks, everybody.
I believe in destiny. With a little help from you and me. And that patience is the key to unlock the door to love's longevity. Had lovers stay in love forever. At a time when people break up every day. I'm telling you, good love takes time. Good love's like a fine wine. Life ain't no race to see who wins. It's no chase to the finish line. And good love takes time. Sometimes fights will get you down. Sometimes love just can't be found. When stubborn hearts are all around, there just ain't no middle ground. What I found is every day's a new day to make life better than before. wine. Life ain't no race to see who wins. It's no chase to the finish line. And good love takes time. Now I ain't saying that you should never quit. I know, there are plenty reasons to do that. But just be sure before you give up too quick that you've done all that you can do to be among the precious few who keep it going when the storm is through. Life ain't no race to see who wins. There's no chase to the finish line. And good love takes time. Good love takes time. Baby, it takes time. Good love takes time. Patience and time. Good love takes time. Baby, it takes time. Good love takes time.
How long you been playing instruments and writing songs?
Well, I started teaching myself guitar at 13 years old. I'm 50 now, so 37 years from the time I started actually picking up a guitar and trying to figure things out. I started writing shortly after that, but I didn't really become a serious writer. And what I mean by that is really focusing on it every single day, seeking out people who were already hit songwriters to mentor me, things of that nature. I guess for maybe 10 or 15 years, as far as my writing goes, where I really started connecting up with people that were really strong with their lyrics and taught me just a few things that I needed to know that I just couldn't seem to get on my own. So as far as, first hearing that music calling me around 13 years old, and then right out of college I became a full-time musician, and most of those years I had a 10-year spot in the middle there where while my kids were little, and I thought, I better go get a regular job. This getting home at 3 o'clock in the morning isn't going to work. So my brother Larry has a mortgage brokerage, and so I trained and did what I needed to do, and I became a mortgage consultant, a loan officer, basically for about 10 years. And but anyway, it's getting off track a little bit. So, but I guess the answer to your question is right around 30 years where I've been a real serious musician. Did
you have any like formal music training or anything like that during the years?
Not really. Both instruments, guitar and piano and bass, vocals and everything, I'm self-taught. I just happen to like learning that way. But along the way, we learn from so many different people, don't we? Uh-huh. Even as a writer, I'm sure, even if you haven't met certain authors, you really learn a lot from them. Mm-hmm. And so, in a way, I've not really had major sit-down formal training. I've had like a handful of lessons from different people along the way. A good friend of mine who I only had one lesson with, but it really stuck with me, is a guy named Joey Fulkerson. I don't know if you've had a chance to hear Joey, but he's a Delaware guy. He's just an amazing guitar player, and he actually toured as Chubby Checker's guitar player for like 5 or 6 years. But he played in a lot of the same bands that I did growing up, and and I had a real good lesson with him one time. There's another fellow that's local. His name is Larry Lapham, who helped me a little bit with finger picking, and it's just a couple different people along the way that showed me just a few little things that have really stuck with me, but nothing really formal. I took a piano class when I was at Salisbury one semester, but that's about it, man.
They say in your bio that some of your original music's currently being considered by top recording artists such as Tim McGraw, Lone Star, Clay Walker, John Michael Montgomery, and some others. That ought to give you a warm, fuzzy feeling inside.
Well, it sure does. This is what I've worked. This is what I'm talking about. This is the persistence and the determination and the not giving up and the working and look under every rock and doing every single thing that you can do to try to achieve your goal. My goal has always been, when I was younger and sort of had my delusions of grandeur, I wanted to be a rock star, and I think more of that is your ego and just wanting people to like you and notice you. And as I got a little older, I thought, I just want to be the guy that writes the songs. That would suit me just fine. Mm-hmm. And I love recording and I love performing. It's how I make my living. But the passion for me is the writing. It's the creative process. And the way this new chapter kind of came together for me was through trying to help somebody else, actually. A dear friend and mentor of mine is a guy named Doug James who lives in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware. And Doug wrote in 1983, he and Michael Bolton wrote How Am I Supposed to Live Without You, which was, one of the biggest ballad hits in the history of music. I mean, it's still it's been recorded by just tons of different people. And then Doug's gone on to record for a lot of other people. And but his catalog, over the years, the different publishers who have published his music aren't as aggressive with placing the songs. And I was like, man, buddy, we got to try to get some of these songs placed for you because these are amazing songs and nobody's recording them. And I said, would you mind if I do a little digging on your behalf and try to find a song plugger who will try to revive your catalog a little bit? And he said, gosh, yeah, go for it. So I did a bunch of research, and I found through my research a fellow in Nashville named Chris Keaton, who is he's an independent song plugger and publisher, and he's been in Nashville for about 20 years, and I did a bunch of research on him to make sure that he was legit and everything. And basically what he does is he takes people's songs, you pay him a retainer fee, but he takes those songs on a monthly basis, and he knows all the producers and the record companies and the artists that are looking for material and what they're looking for, and they trust him, and he goes into their office and sits down and he says, I got a song for you, and he'll play the song, and that's how they, that's how we get a lot of songs placed down there. Mm-hmm. And all the publishers have song pluggers that are on staff with them, but Chris is independent. He does his own thing. So I tried to hook he and Doug up to work together. They ended up not working together, but in the process of developing the relationship with him, with Chris, he ended up hearing some of my material and loved it. And he said, man, I think I can get some of this material placed. If you're interested, let me know. And I was like, well, let me think for just a second. Yeah, let's do it. So anyway, he got started, and, within the first month, I think we had Ronnie Millsap's people interested in one of my songs. And, it's been a roller coaster because, like, the first year we had Tracy Lawrence and Rodney Atkins were both interested in one of my songs called Dancing with the Bottle that I wrote with another Delaware guy, Craig Stonecipher. And they needed, basically what happens, George, is you start off with thousands of songs that they sift through to try to find one. They're looking for that one more hit, to record for their album. and they listen to thousands of songs, and they narrow it down and narrow it down. Well, for both of those artists, I made it to like the final 10 out of thousands, and we were just biting our nails hoping that we got picked, and of course we didn't get picked. So, but that's the kind of competition we're dealing with. You know, I mean, it's very competitive, and but through the last couple of years, Tim McGraw was his producer and his manager were interested in a song that I wrote with Jerry Smith, and we really were hoping that they would pick that up, because that would be huge for me. I mean, one hit with him would be huge.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it would bring some legitimacy and not notoriety, but it would give me a little bit more legitimacy for what I'm doing. You know, if I go into a person's office and I say, hey, you know, you remember Tim McGraw's hit in 2013, such and such, you know, they say, oh yeah, well, I wrote that. You know, so, but we're on the verge. I mean, we're plugging, we're doing everything we can to get these songs placed, and it's going to happen. We just have to not quit. Got to keep on going.
With the modern technology we have today, and it absolutely boggles my mind, but nonetheless, do you feel that competition is even stiffer now than it was when you had to go, you know, beat feet the old traditional way?
Well, that's a really good question. I have thought about this a lot. Are we, you know, the industry is evolving and changing, and in some ways the technology has made it so much more exciting, but then it's created some real challenges, and we're going to have to get it squared away, because there's too many really talented artists who are going broke.
Mm-hmm.
People who have written massive hit songs and you know, but the sale of CDs is down so significantly because of the piracy issues, and people just streaming things online, and artists really don't ever get compensated for it. I mean, you know, if an artist has, like on Pandora, if an artist has a song played 1 million times on Pandora, you know, they might get $30 or something for it. I mean, this is kind of where we are. So it makes it very, very difficult. You got to be creative, and I think it's kind of forcing artists to become independent, because you know, when you go to a record company, they make such a huge portion of the revenue for an artist. I'm getting a little bit away from your question, but gosh, I don't know. I don't know the answer to it. I really don't. I've gone back and forth, because there's certain things about the technology that I think, gosh, if I had this when I was in my 20s, this ability to get my music to be heard all over the world with the touch of a button, I have to believe that I would have achieved more success earlier. You know, for me, it was, what do I do? You know, I've got these recordings, and who do I talk to? I don't know who to talk to. Where do I go? Mm-hmm. You know, I'm living in Delaware. I don't know anybody. You know, it's different than when you're in New York or Nashville, and so I don't know. I think that there's more opportunity for people to find you now than there ever has been. I think that's a good thing. I just think the main thing is, somehow or another we have to find some standardized way for people to be compensated. And I mean, nobody's expecting to be multi-millionaire or whatever, but just let artists be able to, if they create something that touches people's lives on a major way, they should be able to at least make a decent living at it. And I don't know what the answer is. I don't know the ins and outs of it, but from a technology standpoint, there are so many things that are better, and then there's some things that aren't better, where people are using you know, pitch correction and stuff on their voices, and they can't even sing where they're crap. Mm-hmm. You know, it's one thing to clean up, you know, when you're getting ready to release your album and you've got a couple lines there that are maybe just a little off, and you clean it up. And I think all artists do that now. In fact, we're probably doing a little bit of that on my CD, my new one that's going to be coming out in just a couple months here. But these people that are doing it, that just flat out can't sing, you know, that makes me sick to my stomach.
Yeah, is that what they call computer generated music?
No, well, there's all kinds of cool technology that I really approve of and really like. But it's called auto tune or auto correct, where a person can sing into a microphone and the software corrects the pitches. So if they're singing really flat, it will automatically put them on key.
Now, Saul, I could really challenge that software. I'm telling you, my friend, if those people really, I mean, if they're really concerned to make their software the best in the business, they need to look up Espinal, because I'll put that puppy to the test. I'll guarantee you. I don't know how that. I don't know why that came out. It just did. I get like that sometimes. You know, I've got a friend named Rick Fowler down in Athens, Georgia. He's about my age, and he's been playing blues rock music forever and ever, and he has Rick Fowler Band. But when I had him on, I asked him about the technology and so on and so forth, and he said it's good, but you almost end up being like all these people standing in the open, and you all have the same sign, holding up the same sign that says, "Pick me, pick me."
Right. Yeah.
And he said, so it's hard to differentiate who is who.
Yeah. Well, you know, I think there's a couple things. I'm sorry to interrupt you there. But
no, that's fine.
If I don't say this, the thought will leave me.
I know that feeling.
That short-term memory, buddy, is not doing real good. It's you have to differentiate yourself. You have to have your own personal story. And you and I both know that this world is about relationships. It's not, you know, nobody is just going to, you know, unless you're dancing around with your butt hanging out and picking your nose or whatever on YouTube, you know, it's really hard to get, you know, 1 million people to look at your video. It just is, you know. Once again, you know, some of my friends are hit songwriters that have written some of the most incredible songs ever written, and they'll post it on Facebook and get 5 or 6 people to like it. But if they post a picture of their dog, you know, chewing up a stick or doing something funny, they'll have 200 people like it.
Right.
You know? And it's just the way our world is. But what I found is, for me, and you know, I'm certainly no major success, at least not yet, but I think it's all about relationships. It's just be who you are, and let people know what your story is. Let them know who you are, and that is one of the things that I really do like about the social networking. And more than ever, people care. You know, they want to know about your family, and not just because they're nosy, but because they care for you and they love you. And I think that's how you generate a real fan base. You know, what some of the artists are making the mistake of doing is they'll go on some of these things like, there's a lot of music sites. There used to be, you know, MySpace was a real big one for musicians back just a few years ago. And everybody would try to become friends with everybody, and they didn't even know who the hell that person was. And they didn't care who that person was. They just wanted to make it look like they had a lot of fans. You know, it's artificial. It's artificial. My whole thing is to talk with people and get to know people. And when I perform, you know, have them, you know, become friends with them, and we all end up caring about each other. And that's what life's about. And the social media is just one other way to reach people. But you've got to get out there and meet people and talk to people and develop your own story and live a life that's you know, that's worth living.
Yeah, people actually want to feel that handshake and that eye-to-eye contact.
Yes, they do.
That's what real life is all about.
Right, and that's kind of what's missing when it comes with the technology. You know, the technology is great. You know, I've been able to reconnect with friends that I haven't seen since we were 13 years old. And, of course, Dover is a military town, and a lot of my friends were Air Force brats, and their parents moved on, and I didn't see them. And then others just moved just because. And the like Facebook has allowed me to reconnect with several friends that good, like best buddies, from way back in the day. Mm-hmm. So from that standpoint, it's great. But these people who sort of have an artificial life going, the Manti Te'os of the world, the people who just, you've got to get out there and live your life, Anyway.
I know a fellow that lives around here that last time I looked, he had like 2,000 some odd friends. Mm-hmm. And I'm saying, now Laurel's no bigger than a good sized mud puddle after a rainstorm. So, and as far as I know, this fella has never been out of the area. I mean, he'd been to Salisbury, probably to Wilmington, maybe to Philly to see a ball game, Baltimore or something. But I mean, there's no we have just a little better than that population here in Laurel. I think we're just under something like 3,000 or whatever it is. But he had like 2,000. I don't know, and I'm thinking, whoa, Jack. I mean, come on, and he's a likable fella, but yet, you got to go somewhere, be somewhere, and communicate like real to real in order to be popular for people to know you. But and there again, I slide off the cliff every now and then. So don't mind me. But when you said about people just trying to, it's almost like trying to win a popularity contest. That's what it reminded me of.
Right. And now for guys like me, it's very common to have, like I probably have 2,600 fans or whatever, but mine is much marketing as anything else, so I have to reach as many people as I can, but I don't ever, I never get on Facebook and just go through and friend anybody. Those are people that have friended me, mm-hmm. Just because they've seen me perform, they've heard my music on the internet, or it's a friend of a friend or whatever. And so, but yeah, I mean, these folks that just go through and friend everybody, whether they know them or not.
Have you you put together some CDs?
Yeah, I've got the one that has Good Love Takes Time is the one that I have that I did in like 2006, and that CD is called Patience and Time, and that is readily available through, the people can do digital downloads through Amazon, through iTunes, through my website, which is where I prefer them downloaded because I make the full amount of money off of it.
Right. I don't blame you.
Yeah, or they can just buy the CD and I'll send it to them, or come out and see me perform if they're local, because I always have some with me. The newest CD is I'm very excited about as well. The fellow that is producing it is a guy named Jim Salamone, and he's a Grammy-nominated producer. He's up in Newtown, Pennsylvania, and he's worked with, in different capacities, he's worked with Bon Jovi, he's worked with Teddy Pendergrass, Vanessa Williams, Grover Washington Jr., and he cut his teeth in Philly. He worked in Philly, for Center City, Philly, for a lot of years, and now he's got his own studio. And the project is just sounding fabulous. We're very, very close to having it completed, and so I'm sometime in the very early to mid-spring. I'll have that available, and I'm not really sure just yet what I'm going to call it. I'm probably going to call it Average Joe, mm-hmm. I just can't wait for that one to come out. There's so many songs on that you haven't heard because I haven't put them up yet.
Mm. I can't wait till you do.
Yeah.
Hey, can we?
Some of the. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go. Go ahead, man.
Can we take one of those midnight rides?
Oh, let's do it.
All right, let's take a midnight ride. Here he is again, folks. And so, how do I say your last name? Is Knopf or Knopf?
Knopf.
Mm-hmm. All right, here we go. We're going to take a midnight ride with. Well, we were going to take a midnight ride. I apologize for that, ladies and gentlemen. If you thought we went away somewhere, yeah, I guess it's because we went away. Charlie, he's over there working on it. What? Explain to me, Charlie. Well, you don't have to explain to me. Just see if you can fix it, buddy. Wow, that just blows me away here. Let me. Are you ready, Charlie? You're gonna try it again. Okay. What's the deal there? Wow. We are just having us a time. Maybe we can play something, see if something else plays here. I sure hope so, because that's just that's not cool. You know what I mean? I apologize. I apologize to Saul, and I apologize to our listeners. Let's see if Dancing with the Bottle will work. We just we just got something going on here, Charlie, that I don't quite understand. And this is one of those times we're going to have to adjust while we're adjusting, because we needed to adjust in the first place. You know what I'm saying? That just blows me away. I mean, golly gee. All the equipment worked prior to... Yep, I know. How about if you give us 30 seconds, we'll take a commercial break and we'll be right back. Just hang in there with me, folks. All right, we're back. I think I said that before. We're gonna try to take a midnight ride here. And one more time, I apologize. I apologize to Saul, and I apologize to our listeners.
Got a suit on you with the pedal to the metal, laying off the clutch and you're gonna have to settle. With his hands on you like a steering wheel, and he's driving so fast, gonna make you squeal. And you don't even know that he's really bound to go on a midnight ride. He's going nowhere, taking you on a midnight ride to nowhere. He's going nowhere, taking you on a midnight ride. you've traveled many times before. You're just a 4-year-old sucker coming back for more. A junkyard Jenny in a passenger seat. And you're running out of gas, baby, ain't that sweet? And you may think you're bold, but it's going to get cold on a midnight ride to nowhere. He's going nowhere, taking you on a midnight ride to nowhere. He's going nowhere, taking you on a midnight ride. Where I heard your mama's voice, but you had to make your own choice. Now you're feeling like a fool, far from home. On a midnight ride. There's a light up ahead and it's shining on you. It's just a ray of reason what you gonna do. Get control of this car, pull it off the track, and put your feet on the blacktop and never look back. As it's screaming out your name, you know you'll never go again. On a midnight ride to nowhere, he's going nowhere, taking you on a midnight ride to nowhere. He's going nowhere, taking you on a midnight ride. Taking you on a midnight ride.
Now, wasn't that worth waiting for? One more time. I apologize for whatever that was, and for whatever that is. Good gravy, Charlie. You sure Grandma Strare's not here? Huh? Anybody out there see Grandma Strare? Y'all know who I'm talking about. Yeah. Yeah, Grandma Strare's been gone a lot of years, but every now and then she appears, and sometimes she's not too, she's not in a very good mood. But hey, thanks for hanging in there with us, and I apologize to Saul, and I apologize to all of our listeners for that little glitch. I'm still not sure what happened. Charlie just shook his head. He don't know what happened, but one time he pushed a button and it decided to work. So okay, we're back again. Everything's cool. All right. Okay. With Knopf. Now, where did you get the inspiration to write that song?
You know, I've always been fascinated with human nature, and so many times we see in life people that keep making the same mistakes over and over again, and they don't learn from them.
Uh-huh.
And and I guess maybe I've had a little bit of that myself, but I've always been fascinated with that, and so I really wanted to write a song about a woman who just keeps ending up with the same dirtbag kind of guys.
Uh-huh.
And I think we all know people like that, where we've seen it and we're just scratching our head like, God, this is a beautiful woman. She's intelligent. She's got so much to, why is she with this guy? She was just with the last guy who did this to her. Now she's with the,
Right.
And that's kind of what this song's about. It's about somebody that keeps making the same mistake. They're not learning. And then at the end, it's like, aha, it's like the light comes on. It's that those headlights coming toward her. She's like, I finally got it. I've got it. You know, I'm out of here. You know, put my feet on the ground. You know, and never look back, type thing. And so that's really what it was. It's no real specific person or life. You know, it wasn't about anybody specific. It's just that I just find it fascinating that some of us end up with people that we really shouldn't be with, and for some reason we just can't see it.
If you ever want to study human nature and you have lots of time, come down here and watch Espinlob.
Okay.
You will just you will have enough subject material that you could just spend weeks writing songs about my human nature. Just but I'll tell you what, you're so easy to talk to, and you have such an interesting, I don't like to use the word story, such an interesting life account, that no wonder you're such a good songwriter and musician and all those things. I think people's demeanor plays a whole lot in their success, don't you?
I sure do. I sure do. I mean, it's very, very important. Very important. And I guess, both of my parents were very outgoing people, but not obnoxious. And I guess I just learned from them how to communicate and how to connect with people and have a genuine desire to help people. And I watched that with my parents my whole life, and so I'm very thankful for that. I was very fortunate.
I think if people would just learn, and that's another thing that we got going on, and it's going on wrong in our society, is if people would just learn to be themselves. You don't got to be like Pete, or you don't got to be like Sally, because Pete and Sally, they're probably messed up inside. You just don't know it. So you
Sure.
you wouldn't want to be like them anyhow. But if people would just be themselves,
Sure.
how much better off things would be in this great big world. You get to play a lot of places. What was it, Saturday night or Friday night? You was at the pub up in where was it, Smyrna?
Smyrna, yeah.
And then you was at Bubba's on Saturday night in Dover?
Yeah, I filled in with my friends Mike Hines and the Look. One of their fellows was not able to make the show, and so I sat in and played guitar for them. I had to learn a bunch of material and sat in and had a fun time with them. Yeah.
And let's see, what's today? This is Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday. Okay.
Yeah.
Thursday you're at J.D. Schmucker's. Yeah, Schmucker's.
Schmucker's.
Yeah, they would really appreciate Espinlob saying that. I apologize. J.D. Shuckers in Lewis, Delaware. Oh,
that's messed up, man.
and you'll be there at what, 6:00?
Yeah, I play every Thursday at J.D. Shuckers, 6 to 9 in Lewis. Yeah.
Cool. Then you're going to be at the Dover Downs Hotel and Casino on the 1st of February.
Yeah, that is a slot tournament that I do for them. That's not a it's not like one of the clubs where people could come out and hear me. That's an actual tournament that they hire me to do music for.
And then Annabelle's Italian Restaurant in Lewis. That's on Sunday.
I do every Sunday with them. Yeah, I sure do.
And then you're back to J.D. Shuckers again on February 7th.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do every Thursday at Shuckers, every Sunday at Annabella's, and then I rotate in, a lot of the other places down at the Delaware Shore on Fridays and Saturdays, and every once in a while I'll get some, quite a bit actually, private parties. I do a lot of weddings and 50th anniversaries and stuff, and one of the other things that I've been doing a lot recently, which has been really rewarding, is I've been singing at nursing homes and assisted living facilities and so forth, and those folks are just so appreciative.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, I think I probably get more out of it than they do.
Yeah, Saul, when you said that, God's just got a smile on you for doing something like that, because, there they are, they're tucked away. A lot of them's incapacitated. They're lonely, and
Sure.
and it's just like forgotten people.
You got that right. You got that right, and I'm very very emotional about it. Yeah. Let me just tell you this. I did a show about 2 months ago at Harbor Healthcare in Lewis, and a lot of the folks there have severe issues,
Mm-hmm.
and some of them are almost catatonic. I mean, just they come in, their eyes are closed for most of the show. But music, let me tell you something. It talks to everybody. It communicates with everybody, whether a person is able to speak anymore, or whether they're able to move or open their eyes or whatever. It speaks to people. It just does.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's very moving. And a couple months ago, I was doing a show there, and of course, when I perform out live, I'm not doing very much of my original music unless it's an audience that knows me and is calling for it. I'll sprinkle them through, but most of it is playing other people, popular music,
Mm-hmm.
cover songs. So anyway, at one point I switched over to piano, and I put my guitar down, and I started playing Carole King's "Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow" on piano, and I play a slow version of it. And as I was playing, there's several people that they bring in wheelchairs, George, and their eyes are closed and their heads slumped over, and you have no idea whether they're hearing you or not,
Mm-hmm.
And there were one lady in particular was sitting in front of me that I've never seen her eyes open, and then there's a few others, and with all kinds of various issues. I mean, serious issues. So I'm playing "Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow," and all of a sudden, and usually some of them will sing a little bit. You see them mouthing the words, which is really, really moving. But I heard the most incredible voice, and I could not figure out where it was coming from. And I'm looking around. It was when I tell you beautiful voice, I'm talking beautiful voice, and it was on key, beautiful, sweet, high vibrato to her voice.
Mm-hmm.
And I could not figure out who it was. And I'm playing the song, and then I finally looked down right over to my right, and it was the lady with her eyes closed that I had never seen her eyes open once, and it was her.
Oh my God. That had to be that's almost supernatural.
It breaks me up. It really does.
Yeah, I can understand. I can see why.
Yeah.
My goodness.
So, anyway.
I often think, what would it be like if there was no music? I mean, none whatsoever. Or even worse, what would it be like if we had music and all of a sudden it's taken away from us? I mean, it would. I think the whole world's mad enough as it is, but I think the world would go stark raving mad if there all of a sudden all music stopped. What do you think?
I agree with you. I agree with you because it's a universal language. We already have difficulty communicating, even when we do speak the same language. We don't like listening to each other. We like to talk, but we don't like to listen. Music is one of those things where we really listen. We shut up and we listen.
Oh, that's a good point.
Maybe our government could learn a little something from that. I don't know.
Oh yeah, we maybe we could get you a gig up in the halls of Congress where we'll get you to sing and they'll shut up.
Well, I'd be glad to do that, and maybe it'll work. I'm willing to do anything.
You're right.
Anyway.
It makes me spit sideways. But Saul?
Shoo, I like that line. I'm going to go write that down.
Yeah.
Makes me want to spin sideways.
Yeah. There might be something in there. It might come to you. All the lyrics and so on and so forth. Let me know how that works out if it does.
I will.
Saul, I mean this from the bottom of my heart, and I tell our listeners, so many times, that probably before I say it, they know what I'm going to say, but nonetheless, I always tell people, if I can hear someone's heartbeat, I know that I've met a genuine person. No plastic, no facade, no pretense. If I can hear their heartbeat, they're for real. And my friend, I've heard your heart beating throughout our entire conversation. And I'm so glad that you took the time to come on the show. And I'm so glad to be able to say that, Saul, you are my friend. And I appreciate you.
Thank you so much, George. And I appreciate you too, buddy. I'm thrilled to do this show and honored to do it. And anytime you'd like me to do it again, I'd be glad to do it. And we should probably get together off air too. That'd be fun. Yeah,
that would be fun. And we must stay in touch. And before I let you go, if you have, it's not an if, tell your friends, that's musicians and singers and songwriters, if they want a place to come to Espenlaub. I don't know when the last time is that we played, I call it traditional music, music that's out there today on the charts and so on and so forth. We dig up, like down in musicalley.com. We go down and we find, because I tell people there are gems out here.
No doubt.
You just got to go out there and kick some stones and turn over some leaves, and we bring the music up from musicalley.com, and we play those artists, and there are some terrific, some real fantastic people that's playing and singing and doing their thing. So tell your friends, if they need a place to hang their hat, you got my stuff. Give them my stuff and tell them to call me. Will you do that?
I sure will. I can already think of multiple people who not only would be good, for you to play their music, but to have interviews with. Some people who have some wonderful life stories and have some major accomplishments. So, yeah, it'd be great.
You point them in my direction, Saul, and I'll take them.
All right, buddy. I sure will.
All right. And ladies and gentlemen, a great big thank you to Mr. Saul Knopf. Thank you, Saul.
Thanks, George. Have a great day.
You too, buddy.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Wow. There when we played the last song, Midnight Ride, and then it wouldn't play. It was like we was having a train wreck. That's nice, Charlie. But yeah, it was like we was having a train wreck around here. You have to overlook Charlie, because he's... in the midst of seriousness, Charlie can just get that way. You know what I'm saying? But anyhow, when we couldn't play that song and get it going, and then there was this long silence. Y'all probably thought we just up and left, like poof, gone. But the thing just wouldn't work right, and Charlie, he come over and he messed with it, and then finally he pushed the button and it got going. So I apologize from the depths of my heart for that little glitch. But that's the great thing about radio. Listen, back in the 70s and 80s, so on and so forth, when we were doing radio under a different format, you'd be in the studio and you might get a glitch or this or that, but you had somebody running the board. Of course, we have Charlie here. You had somebody running the boards and doing this and doing that, and everything was cool. But here with the internet, you just when things go bad, you just have to adjust on your feet. You have to hit the deck and and run, because that's all there is to it. So radio is quite unique, and you can adjust while you're adjusting, and people don't even know that you're adjusting unless you have a unless you have a real train wreck like that one, where everybody's saying, okay. What happened? Where'd it go? And so on and so forth. But we got through it. And listen, we meet some incredible people. I mean that. We met people from the White House and professional athletes and best-selling authors, and every one of our guests that has come through the Funny Farm gate. Some of them decide to stay. You know what I'm saying? Some of them decide to stay with us. But anyways, every one of them has just been absolutely fantastic. Just every one of them. Every one of them brings a unique thing to the table. Like last night with Patty and Brian O'Mara Knopf, and they discussed Patty's massive heart attack and so on and so forth. And then, we've just had so many incredible guests from all walks of life, and we're just going to keep it going. And here's our philosophy around here. We talk this stuff over, and I know. The Funny Farm is a place where reality and fantasy are intertwined, and we can't tell the difference. But let me back off of that for just a few seconds here and tell you, we actually talk about what we're going to do. Yeah, there's a few of us that puts our heads together and gets this thing done. And we've just decided that we are going to press on and continue to make our show just better and better and better. But we have come up, and this is the way I've always been. When I talk to guests, when I have guests, it's like I turn everything else off, shut everything else out, and it becomes me and that person, just like we're sitting in the living room across from one another having a chat. And I think that the audience can relate with that, rather than everybody is stiff-necked and all them other things. But we just like to be relaxed, and of course I've always been that way. Sometimes I'm a little too relaxed, but nonetheless, that's the way we do things around here. And I thank everybody for hanging out with us and going through our train wreck tonight with us. Thank you, Saul, so very, very much. Average Joe by Saul Knopf.
Grandpa's photo was old and hard to see. He pointed and said, I think that guy is me. There's Hal and Frank, they were from Des Moines. They lied about their age so they could join. We were all like brothers, family made by a war. And see this guy right here, one stripe on his uniform. His name was Joe, just an average Joe. And he was the best friend I would ever know. He carried me when I was in pain. And for for him, I would have done the same. Sometimes the greatest heroes, you know, are just an average Joe. Our company dug in so close to the fight, we could see them light their cigarettes at night. We slept one eye open, ear to the muddy ground. And as long as I live, I'll never forget that sound. When they stormed our foxhole, one cut me with a knife. It was hand to hand and man to man, and one man saved my life. His name was Joe, just an average Joe. And he was the best friend I would ever know. He carried me through the fire and rain, and you know, for him I would have done the same. Sometimes the greatest heroes, you know, are just an average Joe. Sometimes the greatest heroes, you know, are just an average Joe.
Just an Average Joe by Mr. Saul Knopf. That brings tears to my eyes, and I'm not ashamed to say so. Y'all know how I feel about the military, and speaking of the military, this coming Friday night, please mark this down and don't forget it. This coming Friday night, we will be having with us live here at the Funny Farm a retired colonel, let me make sure I pronounce it right, Colonel Lee Ellis, who is retired Air Force, who was shot down over North Vietnam and spent 5 years at the Hanoi Hilton, along with Senator McCain. He has a story to tell. He has written a book, and we'll post more about that and what's coming up. But be with us Friday night for Colonel Lee Ellis, and he will share his experience with us when he was shot down over North Vietnam. And my heart goes out to him, and I thank you, sir, for your service. It'll be a privilege and an honor to talk to you Friday night. In between Friday night, which means Wednesday night. Is this Tuesday? Yeah, this is Tuesday. Let me let's see. My goodness, this is Tuesday. Let me get it here. Go back here. Boy, I'll tell you what. Sometimes I amaze myself. Okay. Tomorrow night, we're going to have Father Joe Bradley with us out of California, who has written a book entitled The Four Gifts: How One Priest Received a Second, Third, and Fourth Chance at Life. And I think you're going to be, I think you'll be on the edge of your seat as Father Bradley tells us about his life as a priest, and it's not all pretty. He put in his book, and I read it. I can't find out exactly where it's at right now. But he said if someone is going to write their memoirs, then they must be honest. Because it's not good, and I'm paraphrasing here, it's not good to make things nice when they aren't. And I talked with Father Joe a couple times now, by the way of telephone. And he is you can tell he's a very honest individual. He's still in the priesthood. And he's going to talk to us about, well, I'll just read this to you real quick. By all rights, insight, knowledge, and plain old common sense, I should be dead. That's his words. If past usage of beer, marijuana, and cocaine didn't do the trick, then certainly dilated I can't say that word, but anyhow, should have. He had a severe heart attack. Instead, I'm alive, clean, and sober, and a functioning Catholic priest after finally overcoming addiction. For 15 years, I functioned as a sober priest before my heart gave out from the same heart disease that killed my father. Another miracle came my way, and I was blessed to receive a new heart. It's been 7 years now since Father Joe has received his new heart, and talking to him on the telephone, he just sounds robust, upbeat, and ready to go. But he will be flat out honest. He told me yesterday on the telephone when I talked to him, I will be very, very honest about my life, and I will discuss it openly with your listeners. And I certainly appreciate that. So tomorrow night, Father Joe Bradley will be with us out of California. And then on Thursday night, we're going to have us another musician, singer, songwriter, a young lady by the name of Lou Ann Hunt. And we'll be playing some of her music tomorrow night, and we'll be showcasing her. And I think you'll enjoy it. So that takes care of the week. We have had a tremendous week thus far, and we are going to continue to do so. We have something planned that is, I just think it's neat, for lack of a better term. We are going to start having a show either on Saturday night or early Sunday morning, or perhaps both. Saturday night and Sunday morning. We haven't determined whether it's going to be one or the other or both as yet. We better soon make a decision, because Saturday and Sunday's coming on as fast. But I don't know how many of you have ever heard of the radio show entitled Unshackled. Unshackled. Radio show that has been on the air. They have been broadcasting their show, Unshackled, since 1950. And what it is, you will enjoy it so much that it is the actual story of an individual or individuals and their dilemma and what happened when they came out on the other side. I don't want to give you too much information, but if you're familiar with Unshackled, it comes from the Pacific Garden Mission out of Chicago, Illinois, and it's been there forever. They call it the Lighthouse. I think it was back in 18 something or another, but for 100 years or more, they have been around, and they minister to the homeless, the brokenhearted, the abused women and children, the downtrodden. They minister to them. And I was reading the other day that in the wintertime, they have as many as 800 or more men, women, and children coming to their facilities at nighttime to get in out of the cold. And the Pacific Garden Mission takes care of these folks. They don't become dependent. They don't allow them to become dependent. They minister to them, and they meet their individual needs, and they've been around a long, long time, and if anyone knows how to do it, they certainly know how to do it. I want to thank Flossie McNeil and her staff in the programming department, because they really, when we were talking with them about doing this, I mean, they were just as elated as we were. and we count it an honor and a privilege. We have everything in line, everything to go, either Saturday night, Sunday morning, or Saturday night and Sunday morning. Everything is a go, and we are definitely going to go. And I said all that to say this, because here's a promo of Unshackled.
She wasn't an orphan when she yearned to live in an orphanage, but going there changed her life. Don't miss the testimony of Shirley Duncan, another true dramatization coming soon on Unshackled.
And that's exactly what it is. It's a dramatization. Man, Espinlove, you can't talk. It's a dramatization. They do these shows live right there at the Pacific Garden Mission every Saturday afternoon. And visitors, they take visitors into the studio, excuse me, where they have been doing these dramatizations. These are true stories of real people, and they've been doing these things since 1950. And so it's done in front of a live audience at their studio right there at the Mission. It is done by well-trained people, with the whole thing. And you will hear the whole dramatization. I'll get it right. When we air the program, either Saturday night, Sunday morning, or Saturday night and Sunday morning, we are just thrilled beyond words to be able to bring you Unshackled. So you can pass the word. We'll be putting more of that up there. And I'm getting tired of listening to myself, because I can hear myself on these through these headphones, and I just don't like myself. And tonight just I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. Listen, one of the prettiest songs that I've heard in a long time is written and sang by Knopf. It is a beautiful song entitled I Was Born to Love Her.
I have never been so sure of anything in my life. Never thought I'd be a heartbeat from paradise. But here I am on the doorstep of what so many only can dream. Yeah, I honestly believe that I was born to love her. I was born to love her. From the first breath I took till now, from the moment that I even knew how to love somebody the way that I love her. I was born to love her. I was born to love her. Some may say that what we have is divine destiny. Some believe it's just a flip of the coin for the lucky. I don't care what they say, 'cause all I know is what I see. When she's standing right in front of me, standing right there. I was born to love her. I was born to love her. From the first breath I took to now, from the moment that I even knew how to love somebody the way I was born to love her. I was born to love her. To love somebody the way that I love her. I was born to 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 love her.
I was born to love her. Sold off. Hey, listen, go to Reverb Nation. That's R-E-V-E-R-B, ReverbNation.com. And you can listen to Saul's music. You can see all the things that are there. You can see where he's going to be, his itinerary. So do yourself a favor. Shoot on over there to Reverb Nation and check it out. Just type in up there in the search box, Saul, S-O-L, Knopf, K-N-O-P-F. K-N-O-P-F. I think I spelled it right this time. Saul Knopf. My many, many thanks to Saul for being with us tonight and sharing his music with us and his life, his passion. I appreciate so much when these individuals take time out of their busy schedule to come on the George Espinlaub Show. It is our privilege to have them come and speak to us, and I hope that you enjoyed every minute of it. Even the time that we had the little crash. Yeah, when we couldn't get the song to play, and we just left the air. You thought we left the air. We just left. We were still here. We was trying to figure out what was going on. But then Charlie tapped me on the shoulder and he said, the audience. So we come back to the audience. I want to encourage you to make sure you tune in every night this week. We got a tremendous guest schedule. And then Saturday night or Sunday morning or Saturday and Sunday, you will be hearing the radio show entitled Unshackled. And we know that this is going to be the very first one.
She wasn't an orphan when she yearned to live in an orphanage, but going there changed her life. Don't miss the testimony of Shirley Duncan. Another true dramatization coming soon on Unshackled.
And you'll hear it Saturday night or Sunday morning or Saturday night or Sunday morning. That'll be the first one. The true story of Shirley Duncan. And I think that you really enjoy it. You'll really enjoy it. That's about the most I can say is you'll really enjoy it. Somebody said you'll really enjoy it. Anyhow, we're going to get out of here tonight because we're tongue-tied. What else are we? We're goofy, we're strange, and we're all those things. But I sure want you to know, regardless of all those things and sometimes the blunders we make, I want you to know there's a whole lot of love that comes to you from the Funny Farm. We mean that. Whether you're in a dark, deep valley or you're on top of the mountain, regardless, or somewhere in between, we want to hear from you. email us at GeorgeCE. That's GeorgeCE at Comcast.net. GeorgeCE at Comcast.net. Tell us how you're doing. Ask us questions, whatever. We answer every one of the emails we get, and we want to thank everyone that is sending their emails to us. Keep it up. You're doing a magnificent job, and you're keeping our spirits up too. Wherever you're at, if it's nighttime, I trust that you'll have a very good night. If it's already daytime, like tomorrow in your neck of woods, I hope you have a great day. But regardless of no matter where you're at and what it is, until tomorrow night, same time, same station, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, right here on the Spreaker Network. Tune in for another George Espinlaub show, where we'll have a fantastic guest, and God only knows what else. Until then, this is George Espinlaub saying good night, and God bless you real, real good.